you real bad, you're going to remember it.
Got it.
And most dudes that knock out, what happened? I want a rematch.
Right.
I could have won that fight. But when you get punished, you don't say nothing.
When you see this fight, do you see like Tank just having his way with Jake? Like given like no?
No, I'm telling you, this is what I tell Tank. And Tank said it in an interview. I said, Tank, y'all going there doing y'all thing, woo woo woo. And I said, he ain't giving you nothing.
Tank Davis is a phenomenal puncher and an accurate one at that. But dude, this is a monster. Even Tank, when I asked him how far his power carried, he told me light heavyweight. That's 175.
Jake Paul and Gervonta's coach Calvin Ford got into a heated disagreement during the press conference. Ford yelled at Jake, referring to him as a clown, and pushed him to switch from 12-ounce gloves to smaller 10-ounce ones. He questioned Jake's confidence, wondering why, if he really believed in his ability, he required more padding. The audience was buzzing after the heated argument, which intensified the mood.
Very serious fight, and I'm a very serious person. My question to you is, where did 12-ounce gloves come from? Why y'all couldn't take 10 and he had 8? Already given up 4 ounces of the gloves. I gotta say this because y'all betting all this money. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, wait. You guys were the ones that wanted 12-ounce gloves, not me. I'll do 8. Fuck, I'll do 4. I'll do 2 ounces. I'll do bare knuckle. Like,
I wasn't aware of that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that he can handle himself.
so what do you want? 10 ounce? 8 ounce? What do we want?
If he the one said that, I'm gonna go with that. I wasn't aware of that.
No, the 12 ounce came from your guys' side.
No,
and
it's
I
not.
did. On God. Perfect. Then what do you want? 10?
No, I didn't say that.
Gervonta Davis' longtime trainer Calvin Ford spoke candidly about his confidence in the fight against Jake Paul after the heated news conference. Despite Jake's size advantage, he clarified, Gervonta has a good chance of winning this battle. Ford, who has spent his whole life watching Tank develop and battle, feels that a fighter with Davis's skill and mentality may be intimidated by any physical disparity. This will be Jake's first real test. His first bout against a top-tier pound-for-pound competitor, according to Ford. Despite Jake's prior experience boxing sportsmen and retired professionals, taking on someone like Tank Davis is a completely new level of risk. Given the mindset and accuracy Gervonta brings to the ring, Calvin isn't particularly concerned about the weight difference. According to him, handling the situation effectively is more important than the size of the opponent, and Tank, he maintains, was destined for it.
That's what I call it hiccups, but they lessons to learn from. But we back on track and keeping it moving.
When you heard about the fight, were you like, wait, what? Like, we're doing what?
Actually, when I heard about the fight, they called me and said, what you thought about the fight? I said, the fight doable. You know what I'm saying? Because I watched Tank for years, and I watched other young men in gyms, you know, deal with the guy. You know what I'm saying? Yes, he's big. To me, it's like Jake having his first open fights. If anybody know about the amateurs going open, then you go pro. So, you know, he's a very fighter guy that does have skills. You know what I'm saying? My only concern is, you know, the gloves. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't fight in 12-ounce gloves. We don't use 12-ounce gloves. That's training gloves. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's 2 pounds away from Jake. He fights in 10s. Tank fighting 8s, so he losing 4 ounces. So my thing is, I said, they said, put Tank in 8s, put him in 10s. That makes the fight more interesting. You know what I'm saying? And we'll go from there because I understand. And I brought that question up to one of his handlers.
Luke Thomas, an analyst, expressed a different opinion. He acknowledged Gervonta Davis's amazing punching power and keen finishing skills, but he also saw that Tank's behavior before this bout was out of the ordinary. During the interviews and press briefings, Thomas thought Davis seemed disinterested. Tank didn't seem to be taking Jake Paul seriously, as though the fight didn't thrill him in the same way that a real boxing bout would. Luke noted that Davis's body language conveyed a lack of interest, as if he saw the battle more as a commercial matter than a competitive match. Underestimating Jake's motivation and preparation could create unnecessary risk, he explained. Jake may add surprising intensity because he is motivated by pride and publicity. Fans who questioned whether Tank's attention was totally fixed, or if he saw this as a paid show rather than a real athletic challenge, were echoed by Thomas's interpretation.
So in that sense, it's a little bit different. It's not different in the sense of a boxer in his prime or relative prime straying off the path, but this one is not. It's not like someone else, in a similar weight. It's like completely the opposite, and so that makes it, I think, look and feel weird. And then on top of it, obviously, Gervonta's got other business to handle. He looked to me, Gervonta, absolutely, completely disinterested. Even at the beginning of this year, and even at the pre-fight Lamont Roach stuff, Tank was talking about how much time he has left in boxing, which he was critical isn't much. The Lamont Roach fight, it blew up in his face, but Lamont Roach was cherry-picked. I think Tank thought, I'll just fight another guy from, the Mid-Atlantic area who's, remember Roach came up from 30 to 35 to fight him, and Tank thought he was just going to cruise, and then it blew up in his face, and, you're left with that. So, you're making a point about, he's got this obligation. That's true, but he was already fucking around. He was already taking opponents that, again, I think Roach showed everyone that was a mistake, but put yourself in Tank's mind. Tank was taking a fight against someone he was clearly, in his mind anyway, better than, and was just going to cruise. So he was already in that state. Then you marry that with statements like, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing this, and blah, blah, blah. And, I'm worried about going to therapy because it'll take away my competitive edge. And, kind of teetering on the edge a little bit about whether or not this is a thing he wants to do. Then he, there's a draw in that fight. And then he takes this Jake Paul fight, which I'm sure is going to be for dumb money. I get it.
However, the majority of boxing experts continue to believe that Jake Paul will experience a violent awakening when he fights Gervonta Davis. They highlight how the two differ in ring intellect, experience, and skill. While Jake is still honing his skills, Tank has spent years competing against top boxers who are skilled at timing, footwork, and spacing. Tank's accuracy is considered lethal by analysts. The entire fight can change with a single well-placed shot. Despite his strength, Jake has never encountered a puncher with such precise and controlled explosiveness. Tank's constant pressure may be too much for his defense, which is still unpolished and frequently predictable.
Tank Davis look crazy, bro. Chilaquiles. Gervonta Tank Davis hitting a heavy bag in preparation for his Jake Paul fight November 14th down there in Florida. Man looks absolutely amazing. Man looks like a monster. Man looks like precision. Jake Paul cannot take those body shots. You mean to tell me somebody who done fought UFC fighters and a man with Parkinson's disease can take a body punch from Gervonta Tank Davis, and y'all basing y'all logic just because Jake Paul is big? No, Tank's gonna go ahead and put this man to sleep. I'm telling y'all that right now. If Tank don't put this man to sleep, he done let the black community down, he done let boxing down, and he ain't never been that nice. You Tank fans, y'all trying to give him a pass. If y'all said Tank is as skilled as y'all say he is, if he does not put Jake Paul to sleep and stop Jake Paul, his boxing career is absolutely voided. He already don't care about legacy, and just imagine he don't knock out Jake Paul, and now y'all gonna say it's not a real fight, it's an exhibition. No, we not giving no passes, bro. This Gervonta Tank Davis, he needs to put Jake Paul to sleep. I don't want to hear nothing about, Jake Paul too big. No, Jake Paul chin ain't never been tested by somebody that hit as hard as Gervonta Tank Davis. Tank should put this man to sleep with ease. I say that respectfully. If you don't put him to sleep,
a 2-pack of ass. That shit stinks.
That's a 2-pack of ass at the highest level, and it's a musty energy at the highest level. Get it together. Get it together. Tank looks amazing. That's the Chilaquiles.
Coach Calvin Ford's comments regarding the battle being feasible despite the size disparity were also analyzed by a number of analysts. They recalled how Ford had trained Tank since he was a teenager and how he had led smaller warriors to triumph over more powerful opponents. Calvin has frequently discussed how intelligence, timing, and skill can undermine raw size. He brought up previous battles, like Tank's matchup with Ryan Garcia, in which Davis demonstrated that strength isn't enough to win. What really counts, according to Ford, is being able to take shots, adjust in the middle of a battle, and counter when the opportunity arises. Calvin thinks he knows these dynamics better than most because he has trained innumerable warriors. In the gym, he has witnessed numerous instances of small men destroying huge men. He is confident that Tank can subdue Jake Paul because of this belief, which is based on decades of experience. This isn't a gamble to Ford. It makes a statement about what true boxing ability is capable of.
And for ban on what you make. Again, there's nothing wrong with Tank going to get his... Let's all be clear that that's all the fight is for Tank. He's telling you without telling you that he's fighting Jake just because he's getting $40 million. So when we talk about boxing being dead, Tank has to line up at the front of the line. I can't blame him, but don't throw around, oh, boxing's dead and people switch sides and all of that. You chose not to be great. That's it. You chose not to be great. Stuff like that, choices like that will kill boxing. For sure. On a competitive level, it won't kill it on a business level. On a business level, until people run out of interest in these kind of matchups, it'll do well. On a competitive level, choosing not to fight the best will kill the sport. So maybe it's better if people like Tank aren't in the sport. And I don't even say that because I want that to be the case. I think Tank is ridiculously talented, but you can't want a fighter to fight more than what they want to. You can't. Tank fans or Tank people that like Tank and think he's one of the best, you can't want it. And Shakur came back with, that's how I know you soft. I can't even go back and forth with you soft ass. You rather pop to me on social media than get in that fire and get embarrassed. I get it. Peace and blessings upon you, cuz. He says, the people got your chest out so bad. You talking like you a killer, forgetting that you the one that runs, bitch. I'll be bring the fight to you. This dude, a made-up character. Quote, blessings upon you. Clown-ass dude, wanna be Kevin Gates. Oh my goodness. I mean, here's the thing though. You can't say that stuff about Shakur if you're not willing to fight. This is the point I think that we're gonna come to today, is that Tank can say all this stuff he wants, but if you're not willing to fight Shakur, then none of it means anything anymore. Even if you believe that Tank is gonna knock him out, even if you believe that Shakur's a runner, or that he's not in the trenches, or he's not a boxer that's willing to bring the fight, or whatever, none of it matters. You're talking from the sideline because you won't fight.
Gervonta Davis and Calvin Ford have a bond that goes much beyond that of coach and athlete. From his early days of training in Baltimore gyms to his rise to prominence as one of boxing's brightest stars, he has been with Tank from the start. Davis is frequently referred to by Ford as his son, rather than merely his fighter. He is both confident and concerned because of that emotional connection. Calvin acknowledges that a tiny part of him is concerned about the commotion surrounding the event, more than Tank's skills as this fight with Jake Paul draws near. Unpredictability is a part of the spectacle that Jake Paul's name provides. Calvin wants Tank to be committed and to keep in mind his origins and goals.
He was 11 years old, and I seen him in the ring, and his dad was standing beside me, and I started to break a tear because I remember us coming up in the amateurs together, and he looked at me, he said, man, I said, no, I'm so proud of you because you're still with your son doing what you're doing, and it explains a lot about boxing. Boxing, man, it saved lives, it really do. It really do save lives.
Yeah, like you said there, you've worked with him on a boxer journey from day one.
Yeah.
Seen the brand grow to his collaboration.
Super brand there. It's a super brand. It's Super Box Raw.
And you seen it from day.
Yeah, I seen it from day one, man. When he first came around, man, nobody would give him the support that he was looking for. He came around us, man. First thing we started off was wearing his clothes. He actually let us make our own gorilla and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Everybody says wearing the gorilla. He was the first one to believe in our gorilla, and we ain't looked back.
Greg Hackett, a trainer, expressed his annoyance at the way Gervonta Davis has been treated by supporters and detractors. People today are too quick to judge fighters without understanding the pressures they face, he stated in recent weeks. Hackett maintained that each fighter is free to follow their own path, and that Davis's choice to take on Jake Paul should be respected. He emphasized to supporters that boxing is about more than just entertaining crowds. It's also about protecting one's future. Hackett stressed that the criticism should end since Tank has earned the right to face anybody he wants. He claimed that the unrelenting criticism fails to recognize Davis's accomplishments in the sport. Hackett's point was obvious. Combatants should be allowed to live their lives and make their own decisions.
And number 3 to retire.
I mean, the backlash is just what people do nowadays. That's just, you give somebody a keyboard, you give them a phone, and they able to hide their face. Yeah, they gonna have a field day. Backlash, I get, I understand. What'd you say, number 2? Not fight Shakur?
Yeah, he's saying he'll never fight Shakur. That he ain't gonna do him no favors. That he ain't gonna help him make no money because Shakur broke or something like that. Something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't get all that. That's, you know what I mean. That's against the game. Like, you know what I mean. You at least owe that fight for the game. You know what I mean. You owe the rematch with Lamont for the game, but you owe Shakur for the game just because of the 2000 matchups. You know what I mean. But if he feel like he don't gotta fight him, guess what? We can't sit here and just go crazy about it. But it is kind of crazy. It is kind of corny. You know what I'm saying? If he not gonna fight Shakur, and if he's standing on it like, I'm not ever gonna fight you, I'm not doing you no favors, all right. But then again, you know what? I don't know what them guys got going on. I don't know what they've been through personally. You know what I'm saying? But would I love to see that fight? Hell yeah, I would love to see that fight. And then number 3, you said what? You said the retirement. Oh, boxing. Boxing. They're around. They're around. It's always gloves around. It's on you. It's on you. I'm chilling. You all right? Yeah, get with me. I know. How you feel? Basketball. That's my man. The retirement is like he done a lot in his career, right? Not everything, but he done a lot. What people don't understand is his business is a lot. This whole experience is a lot. The shit these fighters go through is hard to explain. It's hard to explain because people, they can't see it, so they can't understand it. But it's stressful to the fighters because they coming from just getting ready to fight in the amateurs, being prepared, going out there, win, get it done, celebrate, all right, we back to the next camp. To now, marketing. You're talking about marketing. You're talking about lawyers. You're talking about all this shit that you just never imagined. You like, why do I have to deal with all of this shit? People trying to keep money.
Legendary boxer Tim Bradley offered his realistic and respectful assessment of the impending bout. He emphasized that experience cannot be produced, but he did recognize Jake Paul's dedication to becoming a better boxer and his hard work. According to Bradley, Gervonta Davis performs at a level that Jake has never encountered, one in which timing, poise, and accuracy are crucial. He said Jake's deficiencies would be revealed in the first few rounds by Tank's quickness and defense. Bradley cautioned, though, that Davis's main risk is to underestimate his opponent. According to Bradley, Gervonta will do brilliantly if he maintains his discipline and focus.
But at the end of the day, people are always going to have something to say about every single one of mine. Yes, the second to last guy was 58 years old. This guy is extremely smaller than you. Way smaller. God knows how many weight categories it is. I'm not a boxing expert like I am with mixed martial arts, but it's a good few weight classes, okay? Of course, he's liking it's Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather, which did insane numbers, 4 million pay-per-view buys, something like that. Conor wasn't a boxer, and Conor didn't have a weight advantage. So Gervonta is taking a bigger risk than Floyd by fighting me, in my opinion, and it's a credit to Gervonta because of the weight difference. And that's what makes this a good, even fight, is his skills and his experience for being a top 10 pound for pound, and then my weight and height being an advantage. Well, which one is it? Because before you were one of the best boxers on the planet, before you were one of these guys that people need to take seriously, and he's coming for the belt and he's going to go down as the best pound for pound boxer on the planet. But now he's making excuses for fighting Gervonta Davis because he's so inexperienced and he's not a very good boxer. And that's kind of true. He does wing his punches and they are kind of sloppy, and he leaves a tremendous amount of openings that somebody like Tank Davis is going to capitalize on and take advantage of. However, size matters. There is a reason why they have weight classes. And just as a man, standing there, looking yourself in the mirror and saying, I'm going to fight this guy. It was bad enough when he was taking on Mike Tyson. And all right, we saw the videos of Mike Tyson hitting pads and looking fresh and all the rest of it. And that thing was an entire farce, okay? And then we all out there, by the way, saying that he's going to sue anybody that talks bad about his fights, that says that they're fixed fights.
Bradley talked about the matchup's deeper significance in addition to the technical analysis. He noted that this bout represents a significant change in contemporary boxing. More than ever, the sport has started to combine entertainment and competition. Gervonta Davis represents conventional excellence achieved through years of effort and discipline, whereas Jake Paul represents the modern era of celebrity-driven boxing. Their fight is about what boxing has become, not just about who wins or loses. According to Bradley, it is a pivotal moment that encapsulates the allure and controversy of the development of sports.